Hello, it's Dawn Michelle from Boho Tarot, and today I want to share with you the beautiful Deck for Wonder Walking and Companion Explorer's Journal by Amy T. Wan. So a Deck for Wonder Walking is a deck for the wonder-seeking creative soul, the poet, the artist, the eternal child. It's a deck for reconnecting with nature and our creativity, and for all those days when it's just a little hard to head outdoors. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at each of these goodies individually. We're going to start with the deck and take a look at the beautiful cards in this deck for reconnecting with nature and our creativity. And then we're going to take a look at the Explorer's Journal, which is part walking guidebook, part living tomb of wonder, a place to record your big walking ideas and epiphanies. So here we have our deck for Wonder Walking, which comes in this beautiful magnetic closure box. It has a gorgeous matte finish. We have the lovely gilded writing on it, a few of the cards on the back. On the side here, it says Magic Awaits. So it opens like that, and inside we have this gorgeous fold out, which says an invitation to the human experience. So inside the box, we have the little guidebook as well as the cards themselves. So we'll take a look at the little guidebook in just a moment, but for right now, let's jump into these beautiful cards. So the back features this gorgeous labyrinth on top of this kind of speckled watercolory background with all these beautiful blues and navies and greens, and it's just gorgeous. So a deck for Wonder Walking features 48 cards and 4 suits, one for each realm of the Labyrinth of Enchantment. So the 4 suits in this deck include the physical realm for wonder and curiosity, the creative realm for magic making, the inner realm for truth finding, and the influence realm, the secret garden. So let's go ahead and take a look at each of these realms and the cards within them. So we begin with our cards for the physical realm with wonder and curiosity. These cards invite physical, tangible exploration of our real world with our senses and encourage us to be more awake and observant. Use these cards to deepen your adventure out in nature on a city walk, whether familiar or strange. So we begin with Pareidolia, Fairy Worlds, Flora, Height, Story, Disruption, Synthesia, Discomfort, Roots, Landmark, Belonging, and Notice. Next, we have the creative realm for magic making. These cards invite creative expression through your desired medium, photography, paint, poetry, story, music, and many others. Use these cards to ponder the artistic possibility of your wonder walks. So here we have First Love, Textures, Symbolism, Mood Painting, Thumbelina, Fauna, Naivety, Play, Dream, Color, Shape, and Dusk. Next, we have the inner realm for truth finding. These cards invite us to look inward even as we explore what resonates in our outer world, which often reflects our deeper inner truth. Use them to sharpen your intuition and spark synchronicity in your adventures. Here we have Spirit of Place, Enchantment, The Woods, Intuition, Portals, The Moon, Home, Wonder, Listen, edges, darkness, and fog. And finally, we have the influence realm, the secret garden. These cards invite us to explore in more depth everything that influences our intellect and creativity. Use them to expand your wonder walks into educational and intellectual adventures. Here we have the sun, poetry, journey, study, pretend, connect, follow the rabbit, immersion, memory, hidden, dawn, and discernment. So now that we've had a chance to take a look at all the cards, let's take a look at this little field guide to wonder walking. Inside, we have a little bit about the deck. We have this gorgeous little labyrinth here, which shows you the different realms of this particular deck. On the front side of the fold out, we have a little bit for beginners and seasoned explorers, a little bit about wonder walking. Then we have a little bit about each of the 4 realms. We have what each realm represents, the cards within that realm, and how you might use them. Then on the back side of the pamphlet, we have each of the cards in each of the realms with a question for each. So for fairy worlds, for example, we have imagine magical fairy worlds in your nature encounter. What would your childlike wonder unveil? For story, we have what stories, real or imagined, can you weave about what you're seeing? So we have that for each of the 4 suits within this little pamphlet, and in the back you have a section to create your own little magical notes so you can carry this with you as you go. So this is a wonderful little field guide to really help you get started working with this deck. So now let's take a look at this beautiful hardbound Explorer's Journal. It's a 263-page beautifully illustrated journal and guidebook that goes in depth into the practice of wonder walking with detailed card meetings, journaling, and nature observation prompts, as well as creative activities to try out in nature. So this book is the perfect companion to a deck for wonder walking. The first edition is currently sold out, but the second edition Kickstarter will be coming soon, and I'll leave a link for that in the description box below for you. So again, we have a beautiful hardback book, gorgeous printing quality on this. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. It says, what can I do to engage, attach, and anchor myself to the land? We have the signature from Amy here and the numbered edition. We have an Explorer's Journal of Wonder Walking, a guidebook for reconnecting to nature and your creativity, written and illustrated by Amy T. Wan. We have a beautiful table of contents. We have a little bit about a magical world, walking into wonder, rhythms, and rituals. So here we have a prologue, a little bit about the story of wonder walking. We have a part 1, which is a magical world, like these beautiful illustrations. It says, learning to see with fresh eyes in a beginner's mind, to fall in love over and over with the ordinary day after day is vital for the creative soul. The Wonder Walk is an intentional exploring that reconnects us with our tangible world, reinvigorates our senses and creativity, and makes us come alive. It's absolutely gorgeous full color book. Talks a little bit about how to begin wonder walking, how to use this journal, and what to bring. So here we have what goes into your creative adventure kit. So ideas of things you can take with you. Here's a place for you to record what you're going to be bringing in yours. Here we have the 4 realms of enchantment, which of course relate to the cards in the deck. It says, what does it take to live a truly enchanted life? I imagine that somewhere along this interweaving soul journey through the 4 realms, I would fall in love over and over again with all life has to offer. That's beautiful. So this is really gorgeous. We have all of the cards divided up into their realms. So we have the physical realm up here, the influence realm, the magic making realm or the creative realm, and the inner realm for truth finding. We have all of the symbolic correspondences. So for truth finding in the inner realm, we have feeling, water, unconscious, and yin or receptive energy. So as she mentions on her website, this really is 1 part guidebook, 1 part journal. So it really helps you to dive deep into this practice. So here we have part 2, walking into wonder. So here we're taking a peek at the cards in the physical realm for wonder and curiosity. So you can see we have a lot more detail about each card in here. We have a little bit about the card, some notes from the author here, some interpretations, some symbolism that you might find, and things that you might want to pay attention to on your wonder walk. We also have some activities to try in relation to it and some journal prompts and related cards. There is a lot for each card. We have the same setup for all the cards, activities, journaling tips, related cards that you could pull. And then here in the back, we have some Wonder Walk Adventure spreads, which is lovely. We have the single card pull. So here we have a double card spread, a 4-card Labyrinth Adventure spread. I think that would be a really wonderful one to try. And then we have the Adventure Reflection open card spread. So we have walking through the seasons. I love that. And we have explorations that you can do through each of the seasons. I love that she's also got intentions for each of the 4 seasons, which is wonderful. That's definitely something that I focus in on. A little bit about creating your own Explore charts, and a little sort of wrap up about exploring your own way, understanding how you explore, creating a Wonder Walk circle, some notes for journaling and reflection. And then of course we have the bibliography and resources, some recommended reading, a thank you from the creator, and about the author. It says, Amy is an artist, nature lover, and wonder seeker, creating art and tools to enchant the everyday. She is deeply inspired by the natural world, mythology, and labyrinths. Through her art and offerings, she hopes to inspire folks to embark on a wonder-filled adventure that sharpen their senses, fuel their aliveness, and renew their enchantment with life. So an absolutely gorgeous book. Like it says, it's like 1 part guidebook, 1 part journal, which I really enjoy. Offers you the opportunity to kind of work with the cards on a deeper level with some activities and journal prompts, as well as pulling those cards to do your own wonder walk. I think that this could also be a deck that you could kind of turn to when you can't get out for a wonder walk. So let's go ahead and try that Labyrinth spread. Like, let's just start with the big one. So we have our physical realm for wonder and curiosity. I'm going to move that out of the way so we actually have some space to work with these cards. And because I'm just keeping them in their individual piles right now, or their individual suits, I'm not going to do a big riffle shuffle, although I will riffle shuffle them all together at the end for you so that you can see how that works. I kind of just want to give them a little shuffle and pull one from each labyrinth. So we have upside down. So we have height for our physical realm for wonder and curiosity. So let's pull a card now for the creative realm for magic making. And this one wants to come with us. So we have play, so height and play. So next we have our realm of influence, the secret garden. So let's go ahead and pull one from that. We have poetry, beautiful. And finally, let's pull a card for the inner realm for truth finding. And we have enchantment. So beautiful cards there. So if we wanted to dive into this beautiful book here, we could look each of these up. So we have height here for our physical realm. So for this card, we have a little bit about the card from the creator, the painting. We have the interpretation, which is rising up above all, an unobstructed view, the big picture or perspective, being in command, and freedom. So one of the questions to ask is, how does a height walk engage your senses? So how does it engage your senses to get up above things, to have that rising above, that bigger picture perspective? I think that that's a gorgeous question to be asking ourselves. So we have play in our creative realm with our question of, how can you express the sense of play from your walk? Our interpretations are fun, joyous, gaiety, curiosity, exploration, experiments, spontaneity, getting lost, surrendering, uninhibited, untethered, mischievous, and tricksy. So we're gonna get above things, get that grander perspective, and where can we be lighthearted and bring in that sense of play. So then we have in our influence realm for the secret garden, we have poetry. So we're getting above, we're having a little play, and now we are invited to maybe connect with poetry, to feel deeply, unleash the inner poet, and ask ourselves, how would poetry influence your walk? So we have magic in the ordinary, sensitive, heartfelt expression, brevity, achieving much with little, romantic, and a sentimental view. And then finally, we have our inner realm for truth finding with enchantment, where we're being asked, what inner truths might an enchantment walk reveal? Slow down and reflect on all that enchants you in your outer world. What does it reveal about your spirit and soul? And our interpretations are enthrallment, mesmerized, spellbound, a sublime, transcendental experience, aesthetic arrest, beyond beauty, a sublime, amplified existence. So that's really interesting. We can take a look at this and see kind of when we're going out on our wonder walk, where can we gain that bigger picture perspective? How can we incorporate some play into that experience? How might we express that in a poetic way by bringing some poetry into that walk? And where might we find that enchantment, that magic, that sense of wonder as we're going about our wonder walk here? So let's use these as prompts for a tarot spread. Now, I know that's not really the intention for this particular deck, but I feel like this would be a really wonderful deck that you could use in this instance as well. Say you can't get out for wonder walking, or perhaps you want to also incorporate this into your tarot practice. You want to incorporate these ideas, this labyrinth structure, and look at maybe where you can dive a little bit deeper in your own practice. So let's take a look at that height card. So where can we find that bigger perspective? Where can we get a little bit more of a big picture view? And we have the 9 of Wands. So that's beautiful, right? It's telling us kind of get out of this moment. See what's going on beyond those wands just sitting there right in front of you. And where can we invite that sense of play? So here we have the 10 of Pentacles. So where can we invite that sense of play, that creative energy? Maybe here in the family realm. We often think of the 10 of Pentacles as being kind of that happily ever after family that has everything that they need. Maybe you need to invite a little bit of play in that to enjoy some of that close time together. So how about where can we infuse a little bit of poetry? And here we have the Fool. So where can we create poetry from? That place of innocence, that place of wonder, that place of just getting started on this beautiful journey. And where can we find that enchantment? In the Star. That is beautiful. So we can look to the star, look to our hopes and our dreams, look to maybe our fate, our destiny. What are we looking to create? Where can we find some enchantment in that? And so I think this deck, while it is meant and designed to be used kind of out in the world, I think that you could very much use it as a prompt for your tarot readings. So maybe before I head out on this wonder walk that I'm going to do and I'm looking at height, and I need to keep that in mind because this is where I'm at in this 9 of Wands energy right now. Kind of can't see the forest for the trees. And so this is a reminder that when I'm out on my wonder walk, that I need to kind of get above the situation, right? I need to look at the bigger picture, not just look at what's there right around me, but look at what is beyond that. So the cards definitely have a matte velvety finish, but they are not really very sticky. As you can see, they shuffle beautifully. They've got a nice width to them, a nice bend, a nice flex. I'm able to get my hands around them. I'm able to shuffle them so I can riffle. They also overhand quite nicely. They slide pretty well. I don't think if you work with jumpers, this is probably not going to be a deck that really has a lot of jumpers because that matte finish does give it a little bit more of a grip, but I think it works well. I mean, you can definitely see there are some cards that are kind of poking out there if you're working with, cards that are maybe making themselves more known. Let's see how it fans. I mean, it needs a little help to fan, but we can definitely still fan it. And of course, we can definitely be pulling a card here to see we got the moon. So one more thing that I wanted to just do is to kind of see how this might work if you're looking at maybe creating some, using this for not only creativity and exploration, but maybe for also tapping into some healing. So I just kind of want to give it a little play here. Let's see what we can create together. I want to pull a card. Well, apparently that one's going to come out. So we have mood painting. So when we're looking at this, maybe that's telling me, maybe I need to spend a little time doing some painting, right? Little time getting in touch with my mood and working in that in an artistic sense. But what I'm also thinking is to, again, kind of take a look at that message on its own. And again, I'm just using the Dreaming Way. There are lots of decks that would pair beautifully, but this is what I happen to have on hand. So this is what we're going to be using today. I'm not going to be having the most aesthetically pleasing pairings in this, but I really wanted to show more of the functionality. I think we can all take a look at this deck and see how absolutely gorgeous it is in terms of the aesthetics, not only in the cards, the artwork, but the production value. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It's a gorgeously produced deck. But I wanted to look more at kind of the functionality, right? How can we actually make use of a deck like this? So we saw how we could make use of it in terms of working with the spreads in the book, of course, going out on those wonder walks, using it as the creator has intended. But now I wanted to just kind of pull one card as kind of a focal point. So if we wanted to use this either prior to a wonder walk or just trying to maybe do a wonder walk here on the table, I want to pull a couple cards and see what we get. So we've got mood painting, right? So that's kind of telling us getting in touch with our feelings. And let's pull some cards to see maybe where we need to get in touch with those feelings. So we've got the Hermit and the Nine of Pentacles, and I've left a space between because I want to pull in yet one more deck. Again, I'm trying to kind of look at how this deck might be functional in a variety of ways. So now I've got the Flora Healing cards that I'm going to be using, and these are restoration cards. So here we have the beautiful Lily in between. And I think that these decks would pair really well together. This whole collection of healing decks or nature-inspired decks by Rebecca, I think would be wonderful to work with the Wonder Walking deck. Both indie decks. The Dreaming Way is, of course, a mass market deck, but I feel like the energy would be really wonderful together. So we have this idea of mood painting here, of really creatively expressing what it is that we're feeling. We have the lily in the center here for whirl. So this is talking about, patterns and reducing our anxiety and what would happen if you embrace the chaos and the concentric circles and remove the rigidity. So what would happen if you embraced that mood painting, right? If you let yourself express what it is that you're feeling and where you are feeling maybe a bit rigid, maybe this mood painting could let you lighten up a little bit. So when we're looking at that in terms of our Hermit, to me, this is really about go inside, go within, and let that expression bloom outward, as we see here in this Nine of Pentacles. We have the Hermit, which is very much a card of the internal world, the Nine of Pentacles, which is very much a card of the external world, and using the idea of tapping into the energy of lily and whirl and movement and expressing that through our mood painting. I think that's beautiful. I could definitely see myself using this deck in this way of helping me to kind of cultivate a practice, right? I can take this and then this is something that I could go and actually do. I could turn this reading into an activity. I think it's really lovely lovely to have a deck that has such flexibility to it and so many things that we could use it for. So I think it's really wonderful when we have a deck like this that does have a lot of flexibility in how we can use it. We can use it, as we saw, as a deck for wonder walking. I've got them all every which way now. We can definitely use it for a deck for journaling, right? Using the guidebooks that comes with it, the questions that are even in the little guidebook that kind of prompt us to think about things in a different way. We could definitely be using this as an intuitive deck, just taking this one card and looking at the keyword and looking at the artwork and asking ourselves, what does that mean for me today? How can I connect with that energy today? There's a lot of flexibility, I think, in how this deck can be used and the different ways that we could work with it. It's definitely a deck that you could use for, readings, but also a deck that you can use to help you create prompts, a deck that you can use to help you cultivate activities, and of course you can take it with you and go on your beautiful wonder walks as well. And I think that is gorgeous that we have so many different options. I need to sit here and turn all my cards around now. So again, I think this is a really beautiful deck and book set. I am so excited to be able to incorporate it into my own creative journey. I definitely want to thank Amy for sending me this deck and book to share with you today. The deck is currently available on the creator's website, and I will leave a link for that in the description box below, as well as a link to find out more about the upcoming Kickstarter for the Explorer's Journal of Wonder Walking. I would love to know if you have this deck, what you think about it, and how you might use it. So please feel free to share with me in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon for more creative tarot for an inspired life.